Hi guys, and welcome to the next installment of the Guitar Control Bass Club. I'm your instructor. I'm Steve Rosati. So far we've covered Sissy Strut. We've worked on scale fragment exercises. We worked on slap and strum. We worked on a lot of techniques so far, just kind of getting just building up your hands. So this one is going to be kind of a continuation of that same idea. Now, I'm presuming that everybody already knows their scales. They know their major scale, and I'm going to do them all. I'll do them in my major, A major. So I'm going A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. So there's my A major scale, and coming down, right? We know our dominant scales, right? We know A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G natural, A. So that's that dominant sound, right? With that flat 7 in there. So I'm going to go over these pretty quick, and then we're going to get into what we're really at, which is actually, the meat of this one is actually going to be based around understanding chords and playing in one position and being able to hit every chord, play the root, 3rd, 5th, 7th off of every finger. Okay? But we need to know our scales kind of as well with this. Well, you definitely need to know your scales. And we probably I'd cover them in the videos. So, we did major, we did dominant, now we're going to do minor, natural minor. So we're going A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. So this one I started again on the E string on the A with my first finger, and I went A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Now if you notice, that's the major that we did was actually had a C sharp, it had an F sharp, and it had a G sharp, right? The dominant we did had a C sharp in it, and it had an F sharp, but the G was natural, it was flat. The minor has no sharps or flats in this one, because we went A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, and so I'm playing these in different, showing just quickly what they have in them. Okay, now the next one's going to be half diminished. Half diminished is a minor scale, A, B, C, D, flat 5, so it's going to have the E flat in there, F, G, and then you still have A. So we have a flat 5. So that's a half diminished right there. A fully diminished, now I normally think of symmetrical diminished when I think of that scale, which is a bunch either a whole step or a half step, but the fully diminished scale has that minor tonality, but it has a flat 5, and also it's got the double flat. It's got the double flat 7. So we'll get more into that, but when we want to think about the chord tones, is that root, 3rd, 5th, and 7th is going to be viable for everything that we work through, just building those concepts. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a set of changes. We're going to use Autumn Leaves. If you guys, I'm not sure if you know. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that song. If you aren't, I recommend that you do become familiar with it. It's all over iTunes. There's a bunch of different versions. The Cannonball Adderley one is one of my favorites. It's in a different key, though. It's actually in C minor instead of E minor, which is in the real book. And everybody knows about the real books. There's tons of them. This is volume 2. This is a great book. It gives you melodies and lead sheets. I recommend the first version, not the second version right away. But there's a ton of information inside that book that you can use and build off of. I recommend everybody go out and get one. Amazon has them really cheap. It's going to help you with your playing. It's going to help you with your sight reading. It's going to help you basically to get the gist of what you're working on. For today, what we're going to be using, though, is actually iRealB, which is it's an app in the App Store for the. You can get it for your Android or your Apple devices. I use it for Apple devices because that's what I use every day. I am an Apple fanatic. I'm a fan. I also work for Apple, too, as a part-time specialist. And I use their equipment a lot for recording. I use it for playing. Actually, right now, we're videotaping with a iPad. This is what I'm using. That's what I've been using. And it's the forward-facing camera on the iPad, not even the rear camera, which is an incredible image, and I'm going to edit and put everything together using iOS technology from Apple. I'm also using a Zoom handheld recorder to actually get a better sound with my recording. So hopefully that sounds good to you. And as I said, I'm going to use iRealB, which I have on my iPad, but I also have it on my iPhone. If you see this, what it is it's a set of changes. It lets you change the key. It also lets you slow it down, speed it up. It is an amazing, it's an amazing play-along system. It's amazing for your education. They have jazz in there, there's rock in there, there's Latin tunes in there. Everything is available, reggae, whatever you're looking for is in there, and it's a resource that's going to be really helpful to really get you playing. I can give you an example of what we're listening to right here. So what I have right now is I have the bass pulled out of it, and it is just a play-along so that we can hear. And what you see is inside this app, you'll also see that it is actually outlining the changes for me too as it goes. So we're going to use this as our tool today for practicing, because we can actually just sequence certain chords in this and have them loop. If you don't know about this app, go out and get this app. If you have an iPhone, an iPod, an iPad, it'll work on any of them, and it's a really great tool, especially for what we're going to be doing today. So we're going to get started. Alright guys, so this is the 5th video that I've shot for guitar control. And so today what we're going to do is I wrote out a bunch of stuff for you. I'm going to embed it in the article here in the video so that you can pull it up. And essentially what it's going to do is it's going to give you a fingering that we're going to use throughout the neck. We're going to do all these. It's going to be all the chords played off of every finger on your hand. The reason I say this is that a lot of us, we play, and we play either off our first or second finger when we're working through things. A lot of us think major off our second finger, minor off our first finger. Now that's okay to begin with, but you should be able to play every scale, every chord, every shape off every finger. And it's really important. This goes back to those like vomit exercises that I gave you a long time ago, kind of finger manipulations. Very important. So some of these are going to sit well, some of them are not going to sit well. But what it does do for you is it gives you the ability to play in one position for some things or connect chords. How many of us have played through, and this is, again, it works for jazz, it works for rock, it works for or gospel, or whatever you're doing, that somebody gives you a chart, and instead of shifting that, you're going, you know, and you're shifting your hand all over the place. That's not necessary all the time. There are times that we're going to have to shift, but not always. So today we're going to take a song like Autumn Leaves, and Autumn Leaves is going to be our guide because it is, it's my go-to song for all this stuff, and it really is helpful, and it's going to really help to kind of connect those ideas that we're looking to do. Alright guys, I apologize for the beeping. I've been waiting for construction to be done on my street for about the last 2 weeks. That's why I'm kind of late on a video. And I apologize because UGI is taking forever to take care of this. But if you hear any beeping, I apologize in advance. It is quite quiet, so I'm hoping that you don't hear it, but just in case. Alright, with that being said, we're going to jump in, and what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the lower end of the bass. Now, we're thinking about every chord. What I mean by that in this case is it's going to be major, dominant, minor, half diminished, and diminished. We're going to omit the 6/9 chords and stuff like that for right now because we'll talk more about that at a later date. But so for right now, we're thinking about those 5: major, dominant, minor, half diminished, and fully diminished. And we're playing the root, the third, the 5th, and the 7th of each of those off of every finger. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start by looking at our bass, and we're going to find that C on the A string. So if everybody can get together, find your bass, get your C playing, play that, start with that, and hear that note. Okay, so now what I want you to do is once you found that note, I want you to go to your first finger on C. Okay? Pull in my fret wrap there, because there's not going to be any open notes in this, by the way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play C with my first finger. Now I'm outlining a C major scale, so not even a scale, I'm outlining a C major chord. So my notes are going to be C, E, G, and B natural. C, E, G, B natural. I'm going to play it up and down. So we go C, E, G, B. Okay? So fingering on that, I'm using my first finger. I'm shifting up the neck to E, which is going to be the third dot on my A string, to G with my second finger, and to B with my first finger. Okay? So again, so I'm going 1, shift to 4 to E, G is going to be my second finger, and B is going to be my first finger. So one more time. 1, 4, 2, 1. Okay, and then reverse. Because what goes up must come down, right? 1, 2, 4, shift, C. So right there I've outlined a major chord, major seventh chord, with my first finger as the root. Okay? So the next one up is going to be, we're actually going to do dominant. So we're going to lower that down a half step. So the next one that we're going to try is still off the first finger. So we did that major scale, that major chord. The next one's going to be the dominant chord. So it's a major triad, same positioning, starting with our first finger on C, fourth finger on E, second finger on G. Now, we played B with our first finger before, but what we're going to do is we're going to shift down to B flat this time, which is now on the same fret as we played C, on that same dot, but a half step down. So now we have the sound of a C dominant. C, E, G, shift, B, flat. So again, C, E, G, B flat. One more time. C, E, G, B flat. And go backwards. B flat, G, E, C. Up and down. C, E, G, B flat, back to G, back to E, back to B flat. Okay? So when we did the dominant, we lowered the major seventh down a half step to make it B flat. Now we go to minor. So for minor, we're going to lower the third a half step. So we're going to go from E to E flat, still off first finger. So these are all off first finger the first time. So for the first set. So we're going to go C. Now this time there's no shift because E flat is within that 4-finger range, which is right under our fourth finger. G is now played with our third finger because it's right there. And then we have B flat play with our first finger. So again, we have C, we have E flat, we have G, and we have B flat. So one more time. 1, no shift to 4, to 3, which is G, to 1 being B flat. Now remember, this is all based around the concept of 1 finger per fret and that you're not over shifting. This is really important. So we have C, E flat, G, B flat, and back. B flat, G, E flat, C. Okay, so that was C minor. So the next one's going to be based off that same C minor triad, which is C, E flat, and G. But what we're going to do is we're going to lower the G a half step now. So major and minor and dominant are all based on movements of the thirds or the sevenths. The diminished gets their sound by movements of the fifth. Whether the fifth is flat or natural is going to give you that sound of whether it's minor or diminished. And then a fully diminished has a flat, it's got a root, a flat third, a flat 5, and a flat 7th. So let's do the diminished now. So we're going to keep our hand in the same place, still first finger on C, to E flat, which is our fourth finger. Now we're going to go to our second finger to G flat. B flat is our first finger. So like the minor, it's almost the same except we moved the G down a half step. So we have this sound. C, E flat, G flat, B flat, and back. So there's two ways. The other thing about this chord is that we know that a major symbol, especially in the real book, we're going to see symbols written as either, like in this case it would be C, M-A-J 7, which means major triad, major seventh. we may see C minus sign 7, which means minor C minor 7, minor triad, minor 7. If we see just a C with a 7 by it, it means that it's a major triad, but the 7th is a half step lower. So it's like a minor 7th. So major triad, minor 7th. Now, the half diminished has a couple ways that's written as well. It's either written as a, it might be, in this case it would be C minor 7 flat 5 is one way to write it. The other way to write it is C with a circle with a slash through it and a 7. So that means that it's C minor 7 flat 5. Now a diminished is normally written C dim 7, or it's written C with just an open circle next to it, which means C diminished, which means it has the flat 5, the flat 7th. Really important to know. Okay, so let's do a quick review off that first finger. So we have the first one was C major, which was C, shift to E, to G with the second finger, to B with the first finger, and then come back. We go first finger, second finger is G, fourth finger is E, first finger is C. Off C dominant 7 was C, E, G, B flat, and then back. Okay, then we come to the minor. Off the first finger yet again. C, E flat, G, B flat. Remember, there's no shift in that one, right? Because the E flat's right underneath your fourth finger. And then back down. Good. Now we go to the C diminished, half diminished, which means we're going to have that tritone between the C and the G flat. So we go C, E flat, G flat with the second finger, B flat with the first finger, and back. Now comes the C fully diminished. So we have another shift in here, so we're going to add this one now. So we go C, E flat, G flat, and we have another shift down to the second fret this time for this, because we went from B was our major 7th, minor 7th, fully diminished 7th. So that's a B double flat is what we're calling that. So again, back to C with your first finger, E flat with your fourth finger, G flat with your second finger, shift to the second fret this time with your first finger. That is C fully diminished. And then we play it back. So let's play this one up and down a few times to get it in your ear. Good. One more time. Excellent. So those were all off the first finger. Now, what I said was we're going to do these off of every finger. We're going to do it off the first, the second, the third, and the fourth. Now, almost everything fits in this position except for the fourth finger. Because if we start with C on here, we're going to run out of space because we have, 4 fingers and 3 frets below 4. So what we're going to do is we are going to move that C to the E string for the last set. So for now, we're still down here. Alright guys, so we're back now. So here's what we're going to do next, is that we are actually going to do the second finger this time. Okay, so off the second finger, we're going to find that C again. So this is probably the way that you're normally used to playing a major scale, which is that box pattern that we all pretty much know about, right? But, so with this one, what we're going to do is we're going to play all 5 of those different shapes off the second finger. Now there is going to be shifting just like in the other ones. Now we're going to start again on C with our second finger. We're going to go to E with our first finger, to G with our fourth finger, to B with our third finger. Okay, so far let's repeat that. Second finger, first finger, fourth finger, third finger. So it's the same as the one that we did before, but with a different shape, right? Okay. So let's do this one up and down. C, E, G, B, G, E, C. Good. Okay. So next in the list was dominant. So we're going to take that B from there and put it right there. So it's going to become B flat. So this time we go C, E, G, B flat. So we're going 2, 1, 4, 2. So this one has no shifting in it, just like the one before. So this was C dominant 7 off the second finger. Okay? So next one is C minor 7. Okay, so C minor 7 has an E flat in it. So we're playing E with our first finger. We're going to play E flat with our first finger, but it's going to require a shift. So this time we're going to go C with our second finger, shift down to E flat with our first finger, down to G with our fourth finger, B flat with our second finger. Okay? So that's a little bit strange, but it's important that you understand that that the way that these things work, it's really kind of important to get those things together. Is that starting on the second finger, going to the first finger, going to the fourth finger, going to the second finger. So we do have that shift in there. Let's do that one again. I'm going to slow it down. C, E flat, G, B flat. And we return. B flat, G, E flat, C. Now notice I didn't go back to my third finger there because this isn't, I need to land on the root with my second finger. It's important to do that. Again, watch my hand. C, E flat, G, B flat, G, E flat, C. That was C minor. Okay? Now we come to C half diminished. C half diminished is going to have, that G is going to become G flat. So we're going to bring that down a half step. So we won't have to make that huge shift up to the G this time. So we're going to go C, E flat, G flat, B flat. Okay? So we're going to go C, second finger, shift to E flat, G flats with your fourth finger, and then your third finger is going to be B flat. Let's do that one more time. C, E flat, G flat, B flat, and let's reverse. B flat, G flat, E flat, shift to C. Okay, so this one might take you a couple minutes to get used to. Take your time with it. Enjoy it. We race through these things way too fast, and so you obviously have hooked up with guitar control because you want to learn about this stuff, and you enjoy playing your bass, so don't speed through it. Take your time. Do everything really slowly and meticulously. It's more important to get a sound than it is to play it fast. Playing it fast is way overrated because you can flub. I mean, you can play things really fast and it's just noise. So it's really important to really outline what those ideas are. Take your time with it. Get that sound in your ear. If you have a keyboard or a piano, sit down and play through it, like hold down a root note and play the chords through it. It's really good. Every great bass player that I've ever known, or musician in general, has tinkered or played piano as well. And it really is good to get that in your ear and to be a fully rounded musician. You don't have to be a phenomenal piano player, but you should be able to sit down and plunk out a few things and really get in your ear. When I was in college, everybody played piano. It's your secondary instrument. And it's really important just to take your time with it and really get to hear these things, because on the bass sometimes we don't get to hear them. Now if you're a guitar player as well, you can hear the chords in a different way, but just having that piano or keyboard around to kind of mess with those sounds is going to really help your playing. Okay, so now we need to do C fully diminished off the second finger, right? Make sure I have the right finger there, right? Number 2. Okay, so again, we're going to have that C. We're going to do the shift down to E flat. G flat is still going to be your fourth finger, but this time B double flat. Now, careful, it is enharmonically also A. But the qualifier here is A does not function inside the C diminished chord. It needs to be the 7th. That's why we call it B double flat. Otherwise, it would be a 6th because C to A is a 6, and we need to make it a 7th, and the 7th is B. It needs to be B double flat. So the diminished, when you think about like the length of the chords too, and I know I'm kind of like tangenting here, but it's really important to think of this. Major is a big, it's a big sound. It's big. When you look at, if I spell out a C major down one string, I go C, E, G, B. It takes up the whole neck, right? I'm actually going pretty far up the neck. If I spell out a C fully diminished, I'm going C, E flat, G flat, and then I'm going B double flat. So it's a lot closer. The distance between the pitches is closer. than what it really looks like. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do this C fully diminished again off the second finger. C, second finger, E flat first finger, G flat fourth finger, B double flat first finger, and back down. And we're shifting back to the second finger. Okay, one more time. 2, shift to 1, 4, 2, 2, 4, 1, 2. Alright guys, so there is going to be some redundancies, and this is just about getting these under your fingers. Now we're doing them all in C, but the idea of this is to be able to do them over every chord, being able to connect those ideas so that we can play through something and connect ideas so that we're not just shifting. It helps to memorize tunes because you can kind of put ideas together and see how they kind of connect, and that's really important. So the next one we're going to talk about is the third finger, right? So we're going to start everything off the third finger now. This one is, you're probably not used to using your third or your fourth finger. If that's the case, and you feel a little awkward, it's all right. It's going to take a little time. Continue to work on the vomit exercises, the scale fragment exercise, anything that gets your fingers warmed up and used to using these fingers, because these are really important and they really help get you around and also to really define what you're doing. So now we're going to look at, we're going back to the neck. Again, we're still in that lower range. I'll turn the camera angle here. And we're starting this time with our third finger on C, right? So, so this time what we're going to do is we're going to third finger on C, second finger on E, shift up to G with your fourth finger, and to B with your third finger. Now you're probably thinking, Steve, that feels really awkward and it's really stupid. Why would I ever play it like that? Well, the truth is, if I'm playing, for instance, if I'm playing an A diminished chord, and then my next chord is a B major chord, they're right next to each other. So I have, you see, I didn't go like this. I was actually able to hit the notes that I wanted pretty easily and pretty quickly together, because I didn't really have to shift at all. I had a slight shift at the end, but for the most part I was able to hit what I wanted to hit, and I was able to get there logically instead of just grabbing at stuff, because a lot of us just kind of grab at notes, and then it leads us into we end up playing the same stuff over and over again. So in this case, what we want to do is we really want to take that concept and really kind of like be able to like reach everything. It's going to give you different ideas too when you're playing through stuff. So if some of us are already playing through, changes, and we're already playing jazz tunes, or we're playing tunes that have lines that move around, this is going to help you to kind of like open that up and think about things a little differently, because there's always at least 2 or 3 different ways to play everything. So I digress. We come back to C with our third finger down here. So this time we're going to go C. We're going to go E with our second finger, to G with our fourth finger, to B with our third finger, and back down. So what you've noticed is that the notes are pretty much all the same, like the major one, the minor, the diminished, the half diminished, fully diminished. They're all the same notes, but we're playing them in different positions off different fingers so that we build dexterity and knowledge of the board, fingerboard. So again, C, E, G, B, and back. Good. One more time up. Third finger, second finger, shift, fourth finger, third finger. Very good. Back down. B, G, E, C. So if you didn't know your chords at this point, you're probably getting pretty good at knowing what they are. So that's awesome. All right. So what's our next one in this sequence? So we did major. The next one is dominant. So it's going to be almost the same. We're going to go C with our third finger, E with our second, to G with our fourth, to B flat with our second finger. Let's do that one up again. 3, C, good. And then we're going to go to E with our second finger, to G with our fourth, to B flat with our second, and then back down. Let's do that up and down again. So So we're going to go C, E, G, B flat, G, E, C. Excellent. Okay, so now we come to minor, right? Minor is going to have that flat third in it. So this is the one time that you're going to be like, there's a couple chords with this third finger that fit so well. All of them are going to have ones that fit so well. But this one really fits, starts to fit well. So we have that C with our third finger, E flat with our first finger. We have to shift the G with our fourth finger, so we still have a shift in there, to B flat with our second finger. So let's do that again. So we're going 3 to 1, shift the G, which is on the dot, and then to B flat, which is on the dot, and then back down. So 2, 4, 1, 3. Let's do this up and down again. C, E flat, G, B flat, G, E flat, C. Okay, so now we come to half diminished. Half diminished starting off of the third finger. Okay, so we're going C, E flat. Now we have G flat, right, for half diminished. No shift at all this time. It's right there. And then B flat, which is under your third finger. So let's do that one again. So 3, 1, 4, 3. One more time. 3, 1, 4, 3. And back down. 3, 4, 1, 3. Excellent. So the next one is fully diminished. So we're taking that B flat and moving it down another half step. Remember, double flat 7. So when I say these things too, is that every note, like when I'm giving them numbers, right? Hopefully everybody's on board already with this. But when we think about a scale, every note has a number. You know, C being 1, D being 2, E being 3, F being 4, G being 5, A being 6, and B being 7, and C being the octave or 8. That is, we should know that. It's kind of like the modes. Remember how we did the modes, you know, the first mode, second mode, third mode, fourth mode? Those are kind of the same relationship to what we're talking about inside here. All right, so finally, the fully diminished off the third finger. We have C, we have E flat, first finger, G flat. So far, that's been exactly the same as before. So now we're going to go to B double flat, which is your second finger. Second finger, second fret. So we're going to go 3, 1, 4, 2. And back down. 2, 4, 1, 3. Back up again. 3, 1, 4, 2. Back down again. 2, 4, 1, 3. Cool. So up until this point, we should be actually pretty good with what we've been working on. So let's do a quick review. So we're going to start again before we do the fourth finger. We're going to come here. We're going to go C off the first finger. So these are all the first position ones. C, E, G, B. So remember that E was the third dot on the A string. And we're going to go back to G, which is the second dot on the A string. Back to E, back to C. Good. We're going to do C dominant 7, which means that we're going to move the B flat down a half step. C, E flat, G, B flat, and back. Again, so that's 1, shift to 4 on the E, 2 for G, 1 B flat. Okay? Now we're going to do C minor off the first finger. C, E flat with your fourth finger, G with your third finger, B flat with your first finger, and back down. Again, 1, 4, no shift, right? 3, 1, back down. 1, 3, 4, 1. Okay, fully diminished. Half diminished. I skipped the ahead already. Jeez. So this is the half diminished one, flat 5, right? Still a flat minor 7, but with a flat 5. C, E flat, G with your second, G flat with your second finger, B flat with your first finger, right? So do that again. 1, 4, 2, 1, back down. Good. Now, and then fully diminished, we're going to shift that down another half step. So we go C, E flat, G flat. There's that diminished triad, right? And then we're going to add the double flat 7th, which is B double flat. Remember, enharmonically on your bass, it's played A on the neck, but we're thinking about it as a B double flat for it to be the 7th of C. Okay? So, and let's do it one up again. 1, 4, 2, shift. Back to 2, back to 4, back to 1. Okay? 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 2, 4, 1. Okay. Now off the we start off the second finger. C major. C, second finger, E, G, B, B, G, E, C. Okay? Now we're going to do the dominant. Flat, B flat. C, E, G, B flat, and then back. Okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to go from there we go to C minor. So remember, this one has the shift down. C to E flat is that shift. Shift up to G to B flat. So let's do that one again. So 2, shift down to 1, shift up to 4, to 2. Now we have C half diminished, C, E flat, G flat, B flat. So then get 2, 1, 4, 3, and then back. And then C fully diminished off the second finger. C, E flat, G flat, B double flat. Second finger, right? 2, 1, 4, 2. And then back. And then off the third finger, C major. C, E, G, B. Yeah, you can really hear that because the C diminished was still ringing in, fully diminished was ringing in your ear. When I went to that C major, it kind of, you could hear that sound in there, right? So back again, third finger, C, E, shift, G, B, back down. Good. C dominant 7 off the third finger. C, E, G, B flat, back down. Minor off the third finger. C, E flat, G, B flat, G, back down to E flat, to C. C diminished, half diminished off there. C, E flat, G flat, B flat, back down. Good. Alright. And then finally C fully diminished off the third finger. C, E flat, G flat, B double flat, and then back down. Let's review that one more time. Third finger, no shift. First finger, fourth finger, no shift there, right? To second finger. Good. All right. So now we're going to actually wrap. We're going to come to the fourth finger. Fourth finger, we're going to have to switch positions. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to do that in a minute. But I want you to take a second to review those, and then we're going to jump into the fourth finger.